morning students. Today we are going to see about the introduction to machine learning. Before we are entering into the topic, we have looked at some technical terms. The first term is intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge. Second term is human intelligence. Human intelligence is the ability of the humans to acquire and apply the knowledge. Let me explain with a real-time example. Medical college students are pursuing their course for the duration of 5 years. During this term, they are acquiring the knowledge through books and other resources. After acquiring knowledge, they have to apply the knowledge in their medical field in the form of doing surgery for patients or prescribing medicines for patients. So this is one real-time example for human intelligence. The next term is artificial intelligence. It's a science of making the computers do things with intelligence like humans. So AI incorporates a human intelligence in machines. And then the next term we are going to see is what is data. Data is a raw facts that represents the collection of recorded observations. And the next one is information. It is a processed data that refers to summarized, organized and analyzed form of data. And the next one is knowledge. Knowledge is the collection of skills a person has acquired through experience. And the last one is wisdom. Wisdom is also about knowing when and how to use your knowledge. Let me explain one real-time example for knowledge and wisdom. As per botanical definition, tomato is a fruit. This is an example for knowledge. And then I am going to tell an example for wisdom. Not to put tomato in a fruit salad. This is also about knowing when and how to use your knowledge. So this is an example for wisdom. Next, we are going to see about the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. First, we are going to see about traditional programming. It refers to the manually created programs that uses the input data and that runs on a computer to produce the output. We have to formulate the code or rules in traditional programming. Then we are going to see about machine learning. We are going to see what is machine learning. I am going to draw one diagram to represent machine learning. For that I am selecting one shape for computer, and then I am going to give input for the computer. First input is data and the second is output. And finally the computer will formulate the program. This is a computer. Here the input is data. We are giving output also to our model. Here the output is historical events or experiences. And finally the computer will generate a program. Machines will learn automatically from the data or through the historical events and predict the output based on the past experiences. This is about machine learning. The next title is types of learning. In machine learning, there are 4 types of learning in machine learning. First type is supervised learning. Second one is unsupervised learning. And the third one is semi-supervised learning. And finally, the fourth one is reinforcement learning. We are going to see one by one. The first type of learning is supervised learning. It is a machine learning task which entrains a computer to predict based on the historical labeled data, that is also known as the output label, and then it uses both input and output variable. This is about supervised learning. The techniques used in supervised learning is, first one is classification, and the second one is regression. Classification is one of the supervised learning tasks which is having the discrete value as a output. And then the example for classification technique is, there is algorithms used in classification are name-based classification, decision trees, and support vector machine. These are the algorithms used for the classification techniques in supervised learning. And the second technique used in supervised learning is regression. It is also a supervised learning task which is having the output as a continuous value. Here the algorithms used are, first one is linear regression. In this regression, the algorithms used are, first one is linear regression, and second is non-linear regression. So this is about the first type of learning in supervised. Second type of learning is unsupervised learning. It is also one of the machine learning tasks in which the data set has only the input variables. That is, it uses the historical data set that has only the input variable. The techniques used in unsupervised learning is, one is clustering, second one is association. These are the two techniques used in unsupervised learning. First is clustering. Clustering means it groups the data based on the different patterns. And association, it finds out some very useful relationship between the parameters in a large data set. This is about unsupervised learning. The third type of learning is semi-supervised learning. Semi-supervised learning is the combination of both supervised and unsupervised learning. So here it is used with data that has a fewer labeled data and a large portion of unlabeled data. Here the unsupervised techniques produce the labels and then feed these labels to the supervised techniques. And then here it is mostly applicable in the case of image data sets, where usually all the images are not labeled. This is about semi-supervised learning. Then we are going to see about reinforcement learning. Fourth type of learning is reinforcement learning. It is one of the machine learning type. It uses a feedback-based environment. It's a learning is based on the feedback by the agents. Here the agents learn from the environment and performing some actions and seeing the results of actions. For good action, they are getting a positive feedback or a reward, and for bad action, they are getting a negative feedback or penalty. In reinforcement learning, the learning is mainly based on the feedback. Since there is no labeled data, the reinforcement learning learns by its experiences only. It solves a specific type of problem where the decision making is sequential. And the goal is long term, such as game playing and robotics, etc. And then here the techniques used in reinforcement learning is, first is temporal difference. This is one of the technique in reinforcement learning. And the second one is cue learning. That's all about reinforcement learning. Thank you.